Without a doubt, one of the most powerful features of InSync is the ability to manually control traffic at an intersection. What makes this feature even more powerful is that you can manually control an intersection from a computer in your office through the InSync web UI. This video explains how to manually control an intersection within the InSync web UI. First of all, please note that manual intersection control is only available to users that have camera view control and manual traffic controls permissions turned on. Now, manually controlling an intersection is available through the multi-camera view. First of all, please note that manual intersection control is only available to users that have camera view control and manual traffic control permissions turned on. Manually controlling an intersection is available through the multi-camera view. Let's access the multi-camera view right now. To do that, we are going to click the multi-camera view icon on the home screen. You can also select multi-camera view from the Views menu. So now we have the multi-camera view screen open. Notice that there is a manual controls button on the top right corner of the screen. Let's click this button. Okay, so as you can see, clicking the manual controls button opens the manual controls dialog box. From this dialog box, you can manually control which phases are receiving detections and which phases are receiving calls. So let's look into this dialog box a little closer. To place the intersection into detector mode and disable InSync adaptive mode, click the Disable Adaptive button right here. This mode sends calls to the controller for any phase that contains a vehicle detection. Intercepted pedestrian calls are also forwarded to the controller. Clicking a phase's manual control field until it toggles to on sends calls only from that phase to the controller. Clicking a phase's force presence field until it toggles to on sends a vehicle detection to InSync and not the controller. InSync then schedules and services that vehicle phase if it was unable to do so previously because it did not detect vehicles. This allows for InSync to continue operating without any external override. Clicking a phase's manual control field until it toggles to on sends calls only from that phase to the controller, completely overriding the calls that InSync may be trying to send. You want to use this option with care, as these calls will interfere with InSync's adaptive operation. If the intersection is configured with pedestrian interception, manual PED call controls are also available to you. Click the relevant PED phase to turn it on. InSync sees the call like it does a PED button press from the field and incorporates it into its adaptive control. These PED calls come in addition to any PED or vehicle calls that InSync is already sending to the controller. So you may be asking, what happens if two people try to manually control an intersection at the same time? Well, if you try to manually control an intersection that another user is currently trying to control, a dialog box displays warning you that another user is logged into the manual controls dialog box. You can choose to take control of the dialog box by clicking Yes, give up control of the dialog box by clicking No, or view the dialog box without being able to make any changes, read only. If you decide to take control of the page, a message displays to the other user that someone else has taken over control of that intersection. The other user is then put into read-only mode. To sum up, the manual controls feature allows you to temporarily disable adaptive mode, force detections directly to the controller, or send a pedestrian call to InSync so that it is incorporated into its adaptive control. There are also checks and balances in place so that two users do not override each other.